Welcome. I'm Max McLeod, and this is an introduction to our Foundation Nutritional Support Program. And it's with ARTC, Age Reversal Technology Center. So first off, why listen to me? Well, I've been studying nutrition, alternative medicine, fitness, health for 50 years, practicing for 45. I have 3 doctorate level degrees in health sciences, a DO, Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, an ND, Doctor of Naturopathic Medicine, a PhD in nutrition. It's my life's work. Kind of a proof of concept. I'm 67 and literally as fit and strong as when I was 17, and I was one of the strongest, fittest kids when I was 17. So the stuff that I do works, and I've helped thousands of people over the last 45 years. So my goal, my purpose, is to help people overcome their health challenges and achieve their health and performance goals. The reason that I developed the Foundation Nutritional Support Program is because most people are deficient in multiple nutrients, and that's by government standards, which are absolutely ridiculous. So why do we need supplementation? Well, first of all, the soil's been depleted, and we've known that since the 1930s. Nothing's ever been done to replace that. So mineral content of the soil declines, therefore the nutrients that get into the food declines dramatically. Environmental pollution. We've spewed literally a couple of 100,000 chemicals into our environment in huge amounts over the last 100 years. And it's gotten worse, and no one has done testing on most of them in terms of their effects. The 2 biggest probably are the plastics and pesticides, so we know that those are extremely harmful and increase our body's need for nutrients. Next, we have huge amounts of processed food, highly processed food consumption that have been further depleted of their nutrients and packed with all kinds of other garbage and additives. Finally, we have dramatically increased the stress levels on all of us over the last 100 years, from everything from those pollutants, reduced nutrients, lack of exercise, lack of sunlight, you name it. We've distorted the natural order of how we should function, and we've piled on more and more and more stressors from different sources. That's a whole other topic. We'll get into it in other presentations. So some other things about why supplements are important. Well, we have a huge nutritional supplement industry, and there's some great products out there, don't get me wrong, but there's also a lot of hype, massive amounts of hype. And there are issues with the effectiveness and necessity of many of the things that are being sold. And the bottom line is that if you don't handle the foundation and the basics, all these other fancy supplements aren't going to do diddly for you. So that's why the Foundation Nutritional Support Program, we've got to cover those bases. We've got to cover the things that everybody needs and is not getting before all these fancy things are going to work for them. So the products that I'm going to recommend have no binders, no fillers, because they're all powders and liquids. The other problem that in the general industry is that many times the nutrients are on the label for window dressing and are at sub-therapeutic ranges. So here's an overview of the Foundation Nutritional Support System. It's based on 50 plus years of study and experimentation on myself and many, many other people. So this is long before the present day biohackers appeared, before they were even born. It's designed to address the most common deficiencies first. Number 1 is quality protein. Most people, like 90+%, do not get sufficient amounts of quality protein. It is the most important macronutrient. So we are made primarily of protein, and most people are operating at a chronic protein deficit. You cannot maintain and or regenerate your tissues when you have a protein deficit. The estimated needs it's pretty much agreed upon by most of the top scientists in the field now are between 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of lean body weight per day. That's a lot of protein. Very few get it. Many people that get it are top athletes that are working to get it and bodybuilders. That's the whole thing is built around getting enough protein. And yes, whole foods are the best source. You want to get good quality foods, cook them properly, do not overcook them because that destroys and damages protein, and then you want to supplement as needed. My favorite things to supplement with are 3 products that we make. We have a pumpkin seed protein product. It's the only real food protein powder on the market because it goes through 2 processing steps. We press most of the oil out of the seeds and then we grind it up. Something like whey goes through 12 major processing steps. It's a highly processed food. Something like pea protein, which has gotten popular as a vegan source, goes through 14 major processing steps, taking it from about 3% protein to 90% protein. Think about how much processing has to go on to do that. The next thing, another product I have is called Peak Performance Plant Protein. We take that same pumpkin seed protein and I add 11 nutrients that normally only occur in red meat. They don't occur in whey, they don't occur in eggs, they don't occur in fish or poultry. They only occur in red meat. And there's reasons for this. There's whole videos just talking about peak performance and those 11 extra nutrients that we add to it. So it's a plant-based protein that's more balanced and complete than meat. The last one on this little list here is Complete Meal Mix. That also has a pumpkin seed protein base with about 24 different nutrients or superfoods that are added to it to round it out. It's not as high a protein as the other two because it has those other substances in there, but it's a great thing that you can use to make about 24 different types of meals out of it. Next, most important thing in my list of priorities is magnesium. Now, magnesium is by far, in my opinion, the most important micronutrient. It flirts up there with protein as the most important nutrient overall, but certainly the most important micronutrient. It's involved in over 500 different enzymatic reactions. 500 reactions. We know of around 3,000 reactions, so a very high percentage of the total metabolic reactions that our body uses need magnesium. Everyone is deficient, or virtually everyone's deficient, unless you're aggressively supplementing it. The RDA is 400 milligrams, which is ridiculous. The top researchers in the field believe that we need somewhere around 1,000 milligrams per 100 pounds of body weight per day. Now, the problem with most magnesium supplements is that they're in tablets or capsules. So you take a significant dose, 400 or plus, and it causes loose stools or diarrhea. So then people back off and they never get to consuming sufficient amounts. We make 2 products. One is called Mag 10X, 10 forms of magnesium in a powder. The other one is called Mito Energy, 10 forms of magnesium plus a B complex in a powder. You take that powder, you mix it in a drink, and then you sip it over an hour or longer. It has multiple forms of magnesium, so better absorption, but by sipping it over a period of time, you slow the absorption rate and you maximize it getting into your tissues, into your blood, as opposed to hitting your GI tract, causing loose stools. So everyone, it's one of the top things I recommend for people is no matter what's ailing you, magnesium. And if you do a search, you'll see there's dozens and dozens of different functions that are dependent upon magnesium. Next, we have B complex. Basically everyone's deficient in one or more B vitamins, and there's several B vitamins, and everyone's kind of familiar with the general term. It's not really a sexy thing, but it's an important thing. It's a foundation thing that everyone needs. So benefits range from everything from energy production, brain and nerve health, supports overall metabolism, contributes to red blood cell and DNA production, and deficiencies can lead to all kinds of things from fatigue, cognitive issues, anemia, and a whole variety of health problems. They are water soluble, they're not stored, they have to be consumed every day. It is in our Mito Energy formula. Next is another not so sexy nutrient, iodine. Now, iodine is vital for every single cell in your body. Know about it for its effects on the thyroid. And yes, the thyroid will concentrate it 1,000 times higher than what's in the bloodstream. Your muscles will concentrate it 100 times more than what's in the bloodstream. So, pretty important stuff. Are we deficient? Absolutely. We know we're deficient, documented even by, government acknowledges that. Why do you think they iodized salt? About 80 or 100 years ago? They iodized salt because of widespread deficiencies and people were developing goiters. Now, they put iodine in salt, that helped to reduce the incidence of goiters tremendously, but think about it. The thyroid concentrates the most of any tissue in the body, so most of it's going to go to the thyroid. There was not enough iodine in the salt to cover all of your cells properly. So it did help, but it was not enough. Now, these days, people don't consume very much iodized salt because it was demonized as a cause of high blood pressure, salt that is. And as a result, they backed off on it, and then in the latest wave, people are replacing with sea salt, which is fantastic, but it doesn't contain iodine. So you actually have to think about and consume some iodine. There's a great formula called glucose iodine. We make a version of it. Many companies make it. It was developed in the 1800s by Dr. Lugo, and it works very well. It's two forms of iodine that allow it to be solubilized into a liquid, and then you basically just take a few drops a day is all you need. Now, most people are going to need to take more initially, 5 to 10 drops a day, to clear out the receptor sites that have been clogged up by fluorides, bromides, and chlorides. I don't know if I did one, but I'll do a whole video on iodine. There's a lot more to it. So that's one of my next priority things that will affect everybody's health. Next, zinc and copper. So remember I talked a little bit about the soil being depleted. It is depleted, and it's almost completely depleted of things like zinc. Selenium is another example. So zinc is involved in approximately 300 different enzymatic reactions, second only to magnesium in terms of the different reactions it's involved with. And we're all deficient. So those enzyme systems cannot work effectively if we don't have it available. So we need to supplement zinc. Now, why do we have zinc and copper together? Because zinc and copper need to be in a certain ratio. Copper is also a mineral that's involved in different enzymatic reactions in a positive fashion. It also can be toxic at too high amounts. So you need to keep the ratio appropriate. If you do a bunch of zinc without the copper, then you actually will tend to cause a copper deficiency. That's not good either. So we put it together in an optimum balance. Next is Big Restore. BIG, big stands for brain, immune, and gut. And it works on all those three areas and a whole lot more. It really works in every cell in your body. It's possibly one of the most beneficial products ever created. It contains three key nutrients, three substances: Shilajit, baobab, and allulose. Allulose is getting a lot of press lately as a very healthy sweetener, that non-caloric, and helps with the microbiome, energy production, stabilizes the blood sugar. It does a lot of great things. And we mainly use it in this product for taste, to mellow out the taste of the Shilajit, which is very strong. Shilajit is a thick tar-like substance that oozes between the rocks in high mountain ranges like the Himalayas, and was first written about and used 5,000 years ago, and is considered to be a panacea, a fountain of youth. The whole nice, beautiful story about Shilajit, but it's only been the last 20 or so years that we analyzed it and understand what is in it. It contains virtually every known nutrient, not in huge amounts, but small amounts that are super bioavailable because it's complexed with things called folate or fulvic acids. So Shilajit is a natural source of the fulvic acids, and it complexes all those nutrients. And then it also has humic acids or humates that have been documented and shown to repair a leaky gut. Just about everybody in our culture has a leaky gut to some degree. So it's one of those things that's just fantastic. This is one of those products that virtually everyone notices a difference within a few days. Now think about a product or substance, Shilajit, that's been written about as a fountain of youth for 5,000 years. It's absolutely amazing. So you owe it to yourself to try Big Restore. Next, liposomal vitamin C. A liposome, and we'll talk a little bit more about it later, a liposome is a sphere of phospholipids that encases other nutrients and acts as a transporter. The key is that our cells are made of phospholipids. The cell membranes are made of phospholipids. So these liposomes can get and will get into the bloodstream as efficiently as if you do an IV. However, they get into the cell, some estimates 8 to 10 times better than an IV, because even when you put a nutrient in intravenously, it still needs a transporter to get into a cell. The liposome is the transporter. Gets it in the bloodstream, gets it into the cells. Liposomal C was the first liposome that I made, and there's several other companies that make them as well, because vitamin C is much more than a vitamin. It's obviously classified as a vitamin, but it's really the stress response hormone that we lost the capacity to make hundreds of thousands of years ago. There's many species that make their own vitamin C from blood sugar, but there are about a half a dozen that don't, and humans are one of them. Probably because it was plentiful in the environment, but bottom line is we don't make it, and when we're under stress, we need huge amounts of it as an antioxidant, as well as a detoxifier, and it also stimulates collagen production, does a number of other things. So most people are deficient. Well, let's say everybody's deficient unless they're taking vitamin C. It's impossible. It's relatively impossible to get it from your food. Oranges are one of the best known sources, as far as the general public. However, how many oranges do you eat a day? And orange juice, once you juice it, it starts to lose its vitamin C content anyway. But there have been oranges analyzed that have 0 vitamin C. Again, if the minerals aren't in the soil, the plant can't make the vitamins and minerals out of nothing. It needs those minerals. So consider liposomal vitamin C as a great way to get some of that in you. All right, that's it for part 1 of my review of the Foundation Nutritional Support Program. It covers the top 7 product categories. And in part 2, I'm going to go over several other must-have nutrients that most people are deficient in or don't know anything about. Now, to attain and maintain optimum health, all the essential nutrients must be present in sufficient amounts. If you'd like an electronic version or PDF of the Foundation Nutritional Support Program, send an email request to me at doc@artc.health, and I'll be happy to send it to you. You can also call the Age Reversal Technology Center at 941-806-5511, and you can also request to schedule a consultation, whether you're local or somewhere else. And we can often help with different issues that you may not be getting the right support from your conventional doctor. Again, our focus is to build health, and we're not here to treat disease. We're here to enhance your health overall. Your body's going to fight any disease condition you might have. Great talking to you. Hope to see you in part 2.